Hi, I'm Jules, your practical mystic, empowering you to walk your mystical path with practical feet. I empower and mentor folks to uncover their soul's purpose, to create and live a life of meaning through ritual and ceremonial transformation and communications with the unseen world. I want to tell you a little secret. I am learning that there is a part of myself whenever I come to a place where I am overwhelmed with information or tasks to do, when I have direct and clear steps that will help propel me in a direction that I know that I dearly want to go. There is a part within me that sneaks up, and she overtakes me with some kind of laziness, some sort of a depression that kind of drags me down and sinks me back into myself. Sometimes this shows up in a little voice inside of my head saying, "Oh, let's just find out what kind of new TV shows are on Netflix." And then I get preoccupied with binge watching a show 6 seasons worth, and I neglect all the things that I know that I want to do to help to propel my life forward. Why am I telling you about this? Well, I suspect, though I'm not 100% sure, that many of you might have a similar part to yourselves. Now, maybe this part of yourselves comes out in a slightly different way. Maybe it shows up as though it's craving all sorts of sweet, delicious things when you are really trying to be health conscious and watch what it is that you eat. I know this part of myself to be one of my shadow aspects. Some of you may have heard that term before. It comes from Carl Jung, who's a psychotherapist, and he uncovered a lot about different aspects of our human psyche. So the shadow aspects of ourselves, of which there are many, I am just starting to befriend some of my shadow aspects of myself. They are the parts of Julie who I reject or deny, who I've never really given attention other than stuffing down back into the corner of myself. We don't really talk or see about anything that shadow aspect wants to say. Nonetheless, these are parts of myself, and I'm using myself as an example because it shows up differently for everyone. And these are parts of myself that exist, and no matter how far I stuff them away or ignore them or deny them or try to fix them or judge them, they will always resurface in some way, shape, or form, even years later. So, for example, this part of myself, I'm embarking on some new adventures in my business, for my family, for myself, and my own healing. And I've given myself lots of to-dos to help me move forward in this way. And this shadow aspect of Julie likes to come up and say, "Hey, but don't you have a house to clean? Don't you want to watch a movie, it's just, just one day is not going to hurt. You don't really need to do that right now. Oh, but people aren't going to really want to hear what you have to say. All of these things. And I have to wonder, what is it about moving forward that is threatening to this part of Julie, the shadow aspect? Because I know I'm almost 40, and I know so far it has not worked to try to shove this shadow aspect down and away. It has not worked to deny or ignore or berate or belittle that part of myself. So what on earth can I do? A lot of psychologists and spiritual leaders talk about working with the shadow aspects and acknowledging them and befriending them, and also recognizing what the essence of their purpose is. So, for example, this part of Julie really has an amazing way of keeping me safe. And what I mean by that is, if my goal is to grow and step out of my comfort zone, that could feel unsafe and threatening to parts of myself. Some people call this like your reptilian brain, that group mindset brain, where you really want to stay safe. So anything that is not your comfort zone, what you already know, what you're comfortable with every day, anything besides that can feel threatening. And therefore, this aspect of myself has been really good at keeping me safe for a long time. And we could go even farther back and think about, well, maybe there was a part in growing up where I felt unsafe or I took a chance and wanted to grow beyond myself, and learned that was scary and it didn't turn out so well. So that part of myself perhaps developed or grew at that time. Anyhow, I feel as an almost 40-year-old that this part of Julie has been a huge gift to me, to help to keep me safe and to help to keep me out of danger and really just comfortable, right? So I want to thank that part of myself for doing that hard work, because it's got to be pretty tireless. With as much as I like to grow and shift, that part of myself has really worked hard to try to keep me very safe. But I also know that staying in this safe place is not going to encourage my growth, and it's not aligned with me living my soul's purpose. So instead of fighting it, and instead of shoving it away or telling that part of myself that it's wrong, I simply want to acknowledge and thank that part for its original and divine purpose. And maybe in the future, and it could be an every minute kind of a thing, I will be having a conversation just with this part of myself to again acknowledge and to say it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And also, I am not afraid of feeling discomfort. I am not afraid of feeling exposed or unsafe for a time. If it helps my soul to grow, if it helps to propel me into congruency with my soul's purpose, then I welcome it. And that means that that part of myself that has kept me safe needs to rein it in a little bit. So I think I'll be talking to myself a lot more from here on out. Perhaps you're thinking about a part of yourself that creeps up when you are trying to move forward or do something good. You know, some examples of shadow aspects can be like envy or greed, aggression. You see shadow aspects a lot of times in like drug and alcohol use. It's that sort of use can be, and not always, but can be a way that somebody just really wants to be in a different level of consciousness. They're craving, their soul is craving some sort of a ritualized way to communicate with the unseen world. Can be a different kind of a shadow aspect. But what the first thing that you need to realize is that it takes some knowledge about yourself, and it takes some real honesty about whether or not you have a shadow aspect, and whether or not you are willing to have a conversation with it about its original purpose, and if you want to grow and learn. And you know, when doing shadow work, it can create a greater capacity to cultivate more healing and love and empowerment and creativity in your life. And it's so worth it to just recognize and be okay with those parts of yourself that are still in progress, still in process. So I invite you to sit with that a little bit. See if anything comes up for you, and pop me a message if you have any questions about that. It can be kind of a personal subject. You can pop some information down below if you have anything to say about shadow aspects of yourself. Please share this out if you found it useful, and I look forward to talking with you again soon. Thanks.